Well, it's that time of year again. It is winter in the great northeastern part of PA. Up here we have a annual event we like to call Take the Batteries Out of Everything You Own so that you have a chance they might work again next year. So I'm doing a quick video on how to get to the battery in your touring bike. If you've done this before, you can't believe somebody actually made a video on how to do it, but if you haven't done it before, it can be a little bit of a puzzle. So once I show you, you'll feel like an idiot for not already knowing, but anyway, here we go. All you're going to need is, you are going to need a Torx tool and a Phillips head screwdriver. I'll put the tools in the description below. So here we go. First thing you're going to do is open up your saddlebag on the passenger side, and you're going to see a screw right here that holds the strap that goes around the seat. Go ahead and take that screw out. It's a Phillips head. And there's a washer on there, so don't lose that. Go ahead and flop that off to the side and put the screw back in there so you don't lose it. Next, you're going to open up your rear trunk, and that's going to let you get right down on top here. And it's going to be hard to get the camera in here, but right directly behind the seat, when you look down in there, you're going to see that Phillips head screw. It's just like every other Harley seat and other motorcycle seats you've seen. They have that single screw holding down the back. Open up that trunk, you'll be able to get right to it. If it drops and you don't get it, that's fine. We'll find that here in a second. Then, just like every other seat, lift up on it and pull back, and the seat will come right off. Now once we have the seat off, here's where my screw went. Again, put that screw back in there so you don't lose it. Now it's a little tight in here, but once you have that screw off, you're going to see the ECM is on top of the battery, and it's held down by these two Torx screws. So we're going to go ahead and remove those. So the two screws that hold the ECM on are going to be T40. So go ahead and pop those off. Once the screws are out, you'll be able to lift up on this whole mess. Just go ahead and disconnect what you can get to now. Now you have the two connectors over here. You're just pushing down on the tab there and pulling these off, and that'll get those two off. You don't have to disconnect these. There's two tabs right here that hold the ECU on top of this cover, so you can just slide that right out and move that off to the side. You'll have one more here. You'll have to lift up on this to disconnect this tab, and that'll pop right off, and then this will pull off to the side. Now to get this whole thing, I wouldn't have been able to show you, it's too tight in here, but to get this whole thing off, you have to push it forward and then lift up on it and then wiggle it out. This hole right here you see here hooks onto a metal bracket down in there. So push the whole assembly forward, and then you'll be able to lift it up and wiggle it out of there. And then we can just flop that off to the side. So right there's that metal bracket, that piece right here. And like I say, that hooked on that. So anyhow, once we get the ECU off there, it's just our two screws holding our battery cables on, and just like everything else, and you can lift that battery right up out of there. So I have the two screws off my battery cables, and then you'll notice this little strap here. That's to help you lift up on the battery. It's gonna be a little bit of a puzzle here. You gotta get the cables out of your way. Wiggle it out of there. As I'm lifting up on the strap, you see the strap just sits down in there and the battery sits on top of it. And then that's all there is to it. So hopefully that helped you solve your puzzle and helped you out a little bit. All right, thanks.